In just 14 hours, funding for the federal government runs out. Republicans control the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. Yet all they seem to want to do is blame Democrats. Yesterday, Speaker Mike Johnson's messaging guidance for his colleagues was published by Fox News. And frankly, it's embarrassing. It lists out a bunch of delusions, including the claim that the American people will blame Trump and Republicans in Congress if a shutdown happens. The only teeny tiny problem with calling it a delusion? That's literally a fact, proven by asking the American people themselves. Proven not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but over and over by an assortment of polls. In fact, the only delusional ones seem to be Republicans who backed themselves into a corner by refusing to extend tax credits to keep healthcare affordable and are going to shut down the government on their watch. I'm Hannah Moldavan, Deputy Communications Director for the Democrats, and your host for today. It's Tuesday, September 30th, and this is the Democrats' Daily Blueprint. Yesterday, congressional leaders finally met with Trump in the Oval Office. Now, remember, this meeting was supposed to happen last week, but Trump threw a temper tantrum and canceled it in a Truth Social rant. Here's leader Hakeem Jeffries summarizing how the meeting went.
Democrats are fighting to protect the health care of the American people, and we are not going to support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of everyday Americans. Period. Full stop.
100% right. No amount of talking points or spin from Republicans can wipe away the fact that they are responsible for a shutdown. They control the legislative and the executive branches. They could have negotiated with Democrats. They didn't. They could have extended healthcare tax credits at any point this year, including in their budget bill that showered tax breaks for rich people. They didn't. And they could have refused to go along with cuts to healthcare in that budget bill, but they didn't. At every step, Republicans have cut healthcare, raised costs, and undermined the tax credits that millions of Americans use to afford healthcare coverage. And now they have the audacity to blame Democrats for fighting to protect the healthcare of Americans? Please. In the 4 years that they were in the majority, Senate Democrats didn't have one shutdown. Why? Because every single time, all 13 funding bills were negotiated with Republicans. If all of this wasn't reason enough, Republicans are literally itching to shut down the government so they can enact mass layoffs at federal agencies. Trump's budget chief, this guy named Russ Vought, literally said so himself. By the way, this is the same guy that wrote Project 2025. Do you trust him to do the right thing? So to recap, despite Democrats putting forward proposals to keep the government open, proposals that would be bipartisan proposals, despite our very clear position that we want to extend tax credits so middle-class Americans can afford health care, and despite that Trump and Republicans controlled the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, Republicans have gotten their marching orders and they're sticking to it.
I think we're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing. I hope they change their mind, but we're going to see.
Amid all the news about a government shutdown, there's one story flying under the radar that you may have missed. Since the start of the Trump administration, the Democratic Attorneys General Association has been fighting back against attempts to silence and bully top state law enforcement officials. And last week, they announced a new effort in this fight.
Today is sort of a rough day. I'm publicly announcing that DAGA has created a legal defense fund to protect Democratic AGs, AG staff, and DAGA staff from legal attacks and harassment.
How did we get here? Well, it's clear that Trump is out to get his enemies, whether it's James Comey, Jimmy Kimmel, or New York's Attorney General Letitia James. Just last week, Trump pushed out a sitting U.S. attorney in Virginia who refused to indict Attorney General James, who, by the way, hasn't done anything wrong. But we know that this is not the last time we're going to see this, as supposedly disloyal prosecutors are replaced with ones who are doing the president's bidding. Democrats are taking action to protect those who are holding Trump accountable. The Democratic Attorney Generals Association is making sure that Democratic attorneys general are protected from New York to California to Michigan to Arizona as they refuse to back down because no one is above the law. And Democrats, especially those who ensure that justice is served, will continue to follow the facts even as Trump tries to silence them. If all of this, whether it's Republicans shutting down the government or Trump going after attorneys general, is lighting a fire in you, then thankfully there's something you can do. Up and down the ballot, Democrats are campaigning for office this year, working to bring down costs, to keep communities safe, and to hold Republicans accountable. We're calling this segment 60 Candidates in 60 Days before the November election, and today we're spotlighting Shaquita Taylor, the Democratic candidate for State Senate District 44 in Mississippi. For the past 13 years, Shaquita has operated her own law firm in Hattiesburg, where she also serves as a public defender. Her life is rooted in service as the daughter and sister of military veterans, and her top priorities are improving the education, mental health, and public health of all Mississippians. She's ready to hit the ground running on day one as the next state senator for District 44, but she needs your help. To make calls, knock doors, and volunteer with the Taylor campaign, go to ShaquitaTaylorForSenate.com. And you can find the link in our video description below. Thanks for joining us today for this episode of the Daily Blueprint. We'll be here with you every weekday, 10 a.m. Eastern on the DNC's YouTube page. Until tomorrow.